All right, it's 5 o'clock and our facilities committee meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Belton Independent School District is going to begin. We're going to have any public comments. I don't see any. Rebecca?
No.
All right, good. So now let's get started. We're going to review and discuss the following items. We're going to get a bond project update.
Mr. Morgan is going to come on up with probably Mr. Berry as
Yes.
well, I assume. And they're going to give you an update on where we are, a real brief update on a few things. We did tell them earlier today we got about a 20-minute time limit, so we're gonna start the timer right now and see how.
I think they're gonna definitely rise to the level of everyone's satisfaction on this. So we do have a bond project update coming up in the board meeting next week, so we wanted to stay away from just kind of going project by project and just kind of filling in, although lots of things are happening, lots of work's being done, lots of great work's being done. We're going to be asking the board to take action on some guaranteed maximum prices a little bit differently coming up. And so we wanted to take a few minutes tonight and talk about our addition renovation projects and why we're going to be coming with 2 guaranteed maximum prices on 2 projects and 3 on the other. And then kind of talk about the advantages of doing that and how that works with our CMAR method and how that works with trying to fast track design on some of these projects as well. So I asked Steve to join me. We're going to do a quick brief update on the 2 elementary schools because those are the 2 largest projects that we're currently working on. Talk through the renovation and addition projects and kind of how these GMPs work and what that means. And then if we have a couple of minutes at the end, I'll brief you on a couple of safety and security projects that we got them all rolling on recently as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve, and we're going to start with Burrell Elementary.
Thanks, Mike. Burrell Elementary, our construction manager is still humping it out there. They're moving really, really fast. And we're getting closer and closer to the point where the entire project will be dried in and we won't be nearly as affected by weather as we are right now. Matter of fact, we're nearly dried in on a couple of sections of the building already. Things are going well out there. As we were talking internally about the way that that project's going to finish out, it is working on a very compressed construction schedule, and so there was some concern about what things would look like toward the end of the project, particularly with city inspections and being able to get certificates of occupancy and whatnot. We reached out to the city of Temple. We had a really, really good meeting with the city officials over there, kind of talking about what that closeout process was going to look like and how we kind of foresee the inspections coming up, and they're going to be really tight, sort of back to back and all of that. Very, very collaborative discussion. It's extremely productive. We agreed to circle back and touch base again with them at the end of June to kind of see where we are in the construction and what we anticipate a lot of those closeout inspections to start kind of toward the end of August and continue through October. And so I think it was really good to give them a heads up and let them know where we were. The city staff is familiar both with school projects and with working on those tight time frames. So I felt like we had a really good and experienced and educated group over there in the city that I think is going to go really well. So that's really good. Hubbard Branch, any questions on the change? At Hubbard Branch, we received our full building permit last week from the city of Belton. We started that project on a site clearing and tree removal permit, which allowed us to get out there and clear the site. We don't have it. We've got the full building permit now, so it's game on. We're moving as fast as we can under the wet conditions that we've had over the past couple of weeks. So this month we're going to be focused on the building pad preparation. That's the soil, compacted soil under the foundation, and then underground utilities, site grading, and construction of the drainage facilities, the retention pond, which are kind of the first phases of the site and building the foundation. We hope to start pouring concrete by the end of this month, early May on the foundation out there. We're hoping. So, and moving on to the renovation projects, this month we're going to be coming to the full board and requesting approval of GMP 1 for each of the 3 renovation and additions projects. So Belton High School, Lake Belton Middle School, and Southwest Elementary. When we ask for approval of the construction manager at risk delivery method, that delivery method, 2 of the biggest benefits that provides to owners is you bring your construction experts in at at the beginning of the project, and they sit side by side with the design team, and they can provide input. The time that you have the opportunity to save the most amount of money in the design process is at the very beginning, when you're selecting things like air conditioning systems and structural systems, those big building systems. That's when you have the best opportunity to save the most amount of money. So having a construction professional at the table with your design team is extremely helpful. The second reason, the second huge benefit you get from construction management risk, when you need to shorten the overall duration of your project, the CMAR risk method allows you to do that, because you can break the project up into pieces, and the design team can focus on each piece at a time, and you can actually start construction before the full design package is done, and bid the project out in pieces. And so in order to meet our desired completion date of summer of '24, August of '24, we've had to compress our overall project schedules tighter than we would normally do. And so for that reason, we started working with the construction manager in the fall last year about how do we break these projects up so that you can start construction as soon as school gets out and be done in time next year. And so what that looks like is that you got to have a lot of close coordination with the owner and with the design team and the construction manager, because sometimes you get things a little bit out of sequence. So we have to finish detailing the structural package before the architectural package is finished, things like that. So you got to have really close coordination, and it's worked really, really well. Core Construction has performed exceptionally well on these projects, as has O'Connor Roberts and PDK Architects and their team of sub-consultants. So it's going really well. We're going to come to you with GMP1 next week for the elementary projects, and then GMP2 will come in May for all three projects, and then the Southwest Elementary project is actually going to have 3 GMPs. And we had a lot of twists and turns on that project between October and February. We finished schematic design, and we needed to tweak the floor plan a little bit, and so that kind of set the architect back 3 or 4 weeks before they could proceed. And then once the floor plan got tweaked and the construction manager started looking at it, we were headed in one direction. We were looking at doing the entire project at a concrete tilt wall, but when the floor plan of the classroom addition changed, the shape of the building changed in a way that the construction manager came back and said, hey, we run the numbers. You really need to use a traditional stick frame structural system. Tilt wall is not going to be your best value on this. And so then that kind of set the structural back a little bit. And so that one's going to finish up probably about 30 days behind the other 2 renovation projects. But we're still on track for the summer finish in '24 on all 3 of these. So how do we make sure when we break these up that we stay on budget, and then when that final GMP comes in, we can commit to the full project. We do that by rely heavily on the construction manager and their estimating. And so, for example, GMP1 at Southwest Elementary, it's going to include all the demolition, all of the preliminary earthwork that needs to happen for the 2 building additions. We're adding the gym and then a classroom addition, and it includes the underground utilities, relocations, and installation of the new utilities. On the other 2 projects, we also have paving, site utilities, the structural package, all concrete, steel, roofing, and mechanical equipment and electrical switchgear. A lot of those things, the electrical switchgear, the mechanical equipment, and the roofing, are very long lead times right now. We got to get that stuff ordered as soon as possible in order to get it here when it needs to go in the building. And so that first package is sort of long lead items and then just the upfront earthwork. Basically, GMP1 will keep us busy from the end of May through about July in terms of the overall scope of work. How do we make sure that we stay within budget? At the same time, the construction manager was actually out on the street bidding these limited scopes of work. They were receiving updated design drawings from the architect and the engineers, and they were going out to their trade partners at the same time and getting price estimates. Hey, look, this is not an official bid, but can you take a look at this, give us a quote? You see any opportunities where we could save some money if we do things differently? And so they're developing what we call the 50% construction document estimate or pre-bid estimate. At the same time, they're putting the first GMPs together. So each one of the GMPs we present this month for board action have been compared back to our most recent estimates, and we're slightly under where the CM had estimated us for these portions of the work that we're asking approval on now. And at the same time, I've just received this afternoon the 50% CD estimate updates, which will cover GMP2 for all three of these projects, like 3 separate estimates. And we're tracking right there, really close to the estimated budgets that they gave us a couple of months ago. So I feel really comfortable about where we are. The design documents are almost 100% complete on Belton High School and Lake Belton Middle School, and about 75% on Southwest Elementary right now. So the project teams all feel very comfortable about where we are budget-wise. In addition, we also have some other safety measures built in, or I consider them safety measures, where we have pieces of work that we're including as add alternates. There's scope of work that's included in the bond package, and we like to do it, but if worse came to worse and we ended up over budget in a way we don't feel like we can proceed with full scope, we have these add alternates where we can pull back just a little bit at GMP2 or GMP3 when we do final. And keep in mind again, the other thing in the CMAR process is the guaranteed maximum price is the maximum price we should expect to pay. And if we're all doing our work correctly, then at the end of the project we should have a deduct change order. We shouldn't have to get all the way to the end. It happens, but.
Steve, quick question. You said just a minute ago that we had basically safety items built into this. You were referring to a process. You weren't referring to any safety items being engineered out. And I just want to be really clear about that.
Not safety and security.
Correct.
Tools to make sure we can deliver the project within the budget.
Just want to make sure we were all on the same page.
I apologize. Poor choice of words there.
I just remember when we were finishing up Lake and Charter, obviously different times, things have changed a lot since then, but we were finding out as we neared the end of the project, so we were able to add some things, fencing and different things. So I understand kind of what you're saying about the safety nets, that these are likes, but not the original scope of the project we can add if we need to, so I get it. Are we finding that things are steel and different things like that are more readily available and some of the pricing is coming down, or is it typical construction where once you see a big price increase, you typically just get stuck with it for forever?
I'm not aware that pricing has come down in any particular sector.
Yeah.
Many of the sectors are not seeing increases at the rates that we were. I think the
2%
inflation last year was nearly 25% over this year. When we felt like we got pretty lucky with Elementary 13. We just hit the market at a really good time, and sometimes that happens. We had a huge interest from bidders. Lots and lots of bids on there, and a lot of the major trades were telling our construction manager that they're starting to see those escalations and long leads really come down. And everybody's sort of holding their breath that that's actually a market trend and not just a flip. But electrical is really, in my opinion, what we're seeing right now, the electrical trades, particularly materials, transformers, switchboards, panel boards, things like that, are almost in a crisis situation right now. It is very long lead times and a real scarcity in the materials that all manufacturers need to make those things, and with no real relief in sight yet. So that's probably our biggest challenge right now is tracking that stuff.
Is it I don't know, we gotta go, but is it the Chinese relationship or is it Ukraine where we're getting some of those core materials from?
I'm not an expert in this, but I'm having to become one. In the research that I've done so far, what I'm finding is there's only 1 or 2 major manufacturers headquartered in the United States, and the rest are either in Europe, India, or China. And so it really is a global marketplace in some of these large, high voltage electrical systems and gear. They may be assembled in the United States, but the components come from elsewhere. And so it's unclear to me really where, I think it's affecting almost everything that goes into those panels. Whether it's the metal to make the enclosures or the copper or the aluminum going to the breakers and switches, it's everything. It's stuff. Trust me.
Just to clarify on this one, Steve, so, and the information that you gave us, so our board board can expect a GMP 1 for Southwest, for Lake Belton, and for Belton High School additions and renovations. And then you'll follow it up with the remaining work in subsequent months after that. Is that
Correct. Belton High School and Lake Belton, GMP number 2 will come in May, and that will be the balance of all the work in that project. So we'll have the final total GMP, and we'll know what that number is by the May board meeting. And then for Southwest Elementary, we have another partial scope of work in May, and then all the remaining work will be bid in May for June board action. And then we'll have the final price for Southwest Elementary.
All right, any questions? All right. It's 17 after. We're done.
Me?
Yeah.
Good job, y'all.
It's gonna really be